Good morning everyone, welcome to another MX5 Restore Workshop update. Today we've got some rust on the Mark 1, which we're always doing. Again, rust. We've got the very rusty one back from paint and that's being rebuilt. It's rust. And we've got a funny story regarding this red Mark 2. Right then, let's go and see what Roy's been up to. So Roy's been doing, this one came in at the weekend and it came in for a little bit of welding, but it turned out to be a lot more welding, didn't it, Roy?
Unfortunately, yes.
And this is going to be a good one for Roy to talk to you about, because although we do many videos on rust, rusty seals, rusty seal end plates, this one is having a inner wheel arch lip rebuilt, which Roy's going to sort of just run through now what he's been doing.
So, as Chris was saying, it came in for a little bit of rust. Unfortunately, turned out to be a lot of rust again. Normal areas, seal end plate, box section, inner seal, outer seal. Started cutting the arch open.
There was, sorry, there was no video showing what this was like before, was it? Because it missed last week's workshop update, didn't it?
It did. End up having to actually replace the whole inner arch, which can be very tricky.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make reference points before actually cutting it out, you can...
Your shape's not quite right.
You can have everything out of alignment. So it's a case of tacking it in place, outer panel over the top, making sure it's all lined up, making sure the holes lined up for the bumper stays.
I think this is one of your niche pieces of work, isn't it? I tend to hate doing. I hate inner arches, but
they're not that bad.
You've got a.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
Got a flair for it, haven't you, Roy?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Unfortunately, I've got to also rebuild this entire rear section of the arch. Go hang in there. All this lot, unfortunately, had just pitted away and rotted away inside here. So, having to reconstruct all that, which is this here. So that would be welded up from the inside.
Does that fit in there yet?
It does, yeah. Yeah. To a degree, I do have to manipulate it a little bit.
Yeah. It's generally there,
so,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's generally there. And we'll weld it from the back and also weld it up from the back here as well.
It's quite a difficult area to work in as well, because the panel
angles.
comes here. This point here is very crucial of being in the right place, because otherwise your panel won't sit like backwards or forwards, and then it could be kicked out.
Yeah, I've got to modify this very slightly because the panel does kick out a little bit on this bit here. So I've got.
Well, it's not finished yet, is it?
No,
so
I've got to cut this level and
yeah.
then also rebuild. Once that's in there, rebuild a little section along here to come around here as well. So quite involved.
When the car came into us, it had some previous. There was a lot of mastic in there, wasn't there?
It had some very bad previous repairs.
Oh yeah.
It was plate upon plate upon plate, and it was just like, yeah, not good. Full of filler.
So once this is done, are we doing anything down at the front?
We are doing clean up the front end of the sill because it's
right.
It's having a replacement wing. We're also stripping and painting this door.
Okay, yeah. So that reminds me. So the reason for doing that is that this car has been painted previously, and it's got very small dimples in the paintwork, and the only way it's like a blister in. It's probably
difficult to see it.
Can you sort of see it? Just here. Look, there's an area there. I don't know if you'll be able to get that.
Can't see it on the camera.
Right, well anyway, it's got very small micro blisters in the paintwork, and the only way to get rid of that is that basically the paint's all going to be taken off to bare metal, re-prepped, primed and painted. And that'll be this new wing, door and this entire side.
Yeah, entire side.
There's some floor rail work on this as well, isn't
Yeah, it's one of the, I think one or two of the front sections of the floor rails need doing.
I think it's both because it's got to be MOT, doesn't it?
Okay, it'll be both then. Yeah.
Well,
So they both need attention.
we
so
ran through
yeah,
one of them last week, didn't we? I think quite in depthly, but
Yeah.
that'll be the similar thing. But
So yesterday morning it was looking a bit of a sorry state. This one that had no metal welded in at all. It looked quite bad. But as you
that's
can
looking good, boy.
see, it's getting there again.
All right,
We will rebuild, make stronger.
good job. You all right, Ash?
You alright?
How's it going?
Not too bad.
How's your thumb?
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay. Right. So this car was in 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and we did the driver's arch seal, quite a bit of work and some MOT work. Oh, was it a seal? Oh, yeah, it was just a seal. Oh, that's right, it was in the seal. And we did an under seal, but the customer wanted to leave it with us because we pointed out to him that he had rust on the passenger side, and so on Ashlee's now doing this. So, has it been quite straightforward?
It's been pretty straightforward. It was actually, on the inside, it wasn't actually that bad. The inner arch is all completely intact. There was just very minor surface corrosion on there that needed cleaning up. The end plate was completely solid. The inner sill had corrosion on it, but it was at the stage where it could have just been cleaned up. Unfortunately, some cowboy had been in here before and put some plates in, and they'd used a grinding disc to cut bits out, and there was like massive gaps like that where they tried to slit it with a grinding disc, and it was all ruined just from the fact that
Point of beyond repair.
yeah, there was just so many holes and cut marks in it, and just big gaping holes. If it wasn't for that, it could have just been cleaned up and just an outer done, but unfortunately there was just too many rusty holes in it from someone using the wrong tool for the job.
Well, the guy that, you know, he's asked us to get this work done. He's looking at keeping the car, and so it had to be done right. So making the decision to replace the inner seal when an inner seal is that far gone is the right thing to do, really. I think we've run through everything else that we did. I think it was on a couple of. This one's probably been on 2 or 3 workshop updates, I think. But yeah, okay, that's that. Cheers, Ash. Good job. So over to what I'm doing at the moment. This Mark 2.5 is the very rusty one that's been featured quite a lot in some of our updates because it was just on my. I've been working on it all year. Car, isn't it? So I'm still on it. So it's back from paint. So I'm just literally fitting it back together. I'm not going to go over everything of what we've done on it. It's in previous updates. So both sides of the vehicle have been painted, rear quarters, doors, front wings, and I'm just in the process of fitting everything back together. I've done the internal doors, I've done the windows, I'm now finishing up with the front end, and I've then got to do the rear end. The roof's put back on. I should be probably done on this probably this afternoon at some point. And then if we do, what's the day today? It's Thursday, isn't it? What are we going to do? We probably won't do another workshop video, so this will be, I think this is hopefully going out on Saturday to the customer. And that's that. Okay. So on Jim's ramp, we've been doing, do you want to come over, Jim, and have a chat what you've been doing? So this Berkeley came into us, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and the customer left it with us as to sort of get onto as of when we can. A space opened up this week, so we were able to bring it in, and it was the usual story where it was a little bit worse than what it was first thought, but yeah, so do you want to just talk about what it is that you've been doing here at the moment with this repair?
So the plan
Jim?
was just to take the lip off the arch, and this seal looked a little bit rusty, but when we got in there was a whole lot more problems in there.
Yeah.
And it extended along the floor pan underneath, so we had to do several repairs along there.
Which you've done. So you've also, have you rebuilt the inner arch lip as well?
That's just been put in there. Just see, I haven't finished it off quite yet. There's a lip there. I had to replace all of that section there
Yeah.
up to here, and we used one of the preformed panels.
Was you getting
the
some
outer.
expert advice from Roy?
Oh, Roy's always a lot of help with them. He's the man for arches.
I think he can do these blindfolded, you know.
I think he can.
I think that might be a challenge maybe in the coming video.
Maybe
Blindfold Roy.
both
you know.
sides at once.
So yeah, so that's looking good. So you've rebuilt that, and I can see on the inside that you're sort of just rebuilding the rear jacking point here.
Yeah, just in the middle of building the.
So this is in the process of being built up. There's a couple more other panels to go on there as well before that's completely finished. And then Jim will be putting the outer panel on. If you come over here, you can sort of see that.
Money torch.
Yeah, some of the repairs that were on the driver's side were very similar to the ones that have been put on this passenger side. Did I say 2 passenger sides then? Driver's side. The repair that was on the driver's side is similar to this one here on the passenger side. It's again, I think this is a combination of MOT failure work, and it's
This is the worst torch in the world, Jim.
It's not great.
it's not very bright.
Well,
So and so it's also I think we're going to talk about this because we see it time and time again. This, if you can see this lip here, right? This is one of these repair panels that you can get off of the famous online auction site, and you know we haven't really come across these at all in their form of when they've ever been put. I think they're designed to go over the top of a seal, aren't they? And they get welded in.
They just go onto the lip.
You know, so. And you can see it gets welded in over the problem. I think if these panels were used in a way where if they cut the existing paneling out, cleaned everything out, it wouldn't be too bad. But we always see these panels used where it's put over the problem, and it's been done previously, and it's going to have to come out again because over time it just keeps rusting.
Customers only getting one side done at the moment. Probably bring it back. Another
Yeah.
time to have this side done.
Yeah, there's a little bit more rust than was expecting, so it'll come back at a future date, and we'll sort that out then.
What I did notice is they managed to block up the drain holes when they put this on. You can see all the drain holes are full.
Yeah, well that's
which
because
is
it's
what's
just
caused the problems further down.
sometimes they just grind it back and then just slap it on and it's welded on top.
I think that's what caused the problem that side.
All right, so what are you doing over here, Jim?
Replacement door.
Okay, what are you doing with the door?
So this is the door of one of our breaker cars. I've stripped it down to its bare essentials. I've got a couple of little areas to tidy up. Did you want to look at that anymore?
Yeah.
We always
So
we always test fit the doors because on the Mark IIs the stone chip line isn't always in the same place.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it can end up being a little bit higher or lower, and
This one's
it's
actually
also
10 wire.
quite common that if you look closely on the rear stone chip on the quarters of MX5s, they're not straight.
it doesn't always line up with the door anyway.
No, there's sometimes like a 10mm difference just because the line goes up. So yeah, this is being stripped down for paint on this door. So this car was featured in our previous workshop update. It was having a roll bar done and a few other little bits and pieces. Now the car was due to go out yesterday. The customer came down, was happy with the work, paid, was just about to leave where the other half got into their car and reversed into it. I didn't want to sort of go into too much details then because it might sort of like it might come obvious. But yeah, so they came to pick the car up. The person that gave them the lift down to pick her car up got in their car and then reversed into the passenger door, which is why it's still here with us. So we're in the process of stripping this door down, fit it up, then we're going to spray it and then give them a call and they'll come back down and pick their car up. Right, that's it, isn't it? Hoping there's anything else to talk about. All right, so cheers for tuning in, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.